Hello, and welcome to another Disgaea Hour of Darkness bonus video. This time we're tackling a subject that I went over briefly in the main update and even showed off a little, but didn't really elaborate too much on how it works: monster capturing. Now, just to demonstrate this, we're going to go to the tutorial map just so I can show it off in relative safety and hopefully show you a successful one. Well, not hopefully, I will be able to show you a successful one because these monsters are really weak. Okay, so we have our monsters over here. As you can see, very low level. We way outclass them, but just for the sake of argument, let's say everyone is around the levels of my random thieves, so you know, 4 at the highest. And I want to capture a monster. So the first step to capturing a monster, of course, is to have an ally walk up to it, pick it up, and then throw it into your base panel. Simple as that. Now, the interesting parts come in what happens when you throw a monster into the base panel. Now, we saw it when we tried to throw the alternate overlord into the base panel. A battle ensues that you can't see the details of, and if you successfully capture the monster, well, you capture it, and if you don't, it destroys the base panel, killing everyone who is still in there. Now, what happens when we throw a monster into a base panel is two things. Now, in the episode where I showed it off, I said you have to deplete their SP and their HP. I was half right. SP is a factor, but after I had posted the video, I had remembered what happens with the SP is that basically what happens is a sort of explosion happens where their SP is turned into damage and randomly distributed among your party members. Now, if you're really unlucky, this is going to hit your main damage dealers, and if you're trying to capture an exceptionally powerful monster, this is enough to deep 6 them outright. But this guy's only got 9 SP, so even if it hit someone I cared about, it wouldn't do anything. After that, it engages in a battle with your party members. Now, the details of this battle are basically like this. The monster goes first and launches a basic attack. Then your character goes and launches a basic attack. And it goes like this until the monster is either defeated or it kills all your characters and then blows up the base panel. So this guy's only got 24 HP, so even though he gets the first attack and my character's way out level him, it wouldn't do anything to us. We would still be able to take him out pretty relatively easily. But again, for the sake of argument, let's say we've got characters who are around this level just for everyone, and we've only got like 6 or 7 of them, and I'm not confident that they'll be able to tank the first hit and actually take him out sequentially afterwards. So what you can do is deploy someone, the weakest person I've got, and then just give him a little hit. And now his HP is lower, and that actually factors into capturing. If you lower a monster's HP while it's still on the field, and then you throw it into the base panel, its HP will be lowered, and that makes it easier to capture. Now, let's say I'm feeling a bit confident, and I'm confident that I can weaken it enough, then get the characters that I'm using to fight it for the capturing back into the base panel. And I'm not satisfied with a level 2 monster. I want a stronger monster. This is another mechanic that I made mention of, but this one I didn't actually show off. You can pick up a monster and throw it into another one, and their levels combine. The way this works is either it's the strongest monster that takes precedence, or if the monsters are of equal level, then whichever monster is standing on the ground is the one that takes precedence. But when you throw them into each other, they fuse together, creating a more powerful monster. So now I've got a level 3 monster that I could capture. He's a bit stronger, and as you can see, I erroneously stated that their HP and SP doesn't get affected by fusion, or rather, the current value stays like that, and that's wrong. They actually do get healed by fusing, so sorry I misspoke about that. But I'm confident enough that I can capture this guy, and if I wasn't, you know, I can just deploy one person, give him a quick hit, and hopefully that'll make him softened enough that the capture will go by without a hitch. Another thing you can do to make capturing go by more smoothly is bait enemies into using their special attacks, which will reduce the SP explosion. And the best way to do this is just throw out a bunch of junk characters and have them take those SP attacks. Now, with all that said and done, let's try and actually capture the guy. So just walk up to him, pick him up, and throw him into the base panel, and let's see what happens. And because he didn't even stand a chance, we just captured him right away. He took his attack, and then Laharl completely destroyed him. Laharl didn't even take any damage from his attack. And if I actually cared enough, I could search to see who got hit with the SP explosion. But yeah, that's the long and short of capturing. You won't find the captured monster in your base panel immediately after you captured it, because it has been killed, and you have to go to the hospital to revive it. Now, one technique to power up monsters that I just showed off is fusing them together, but obviously that only goes up to a certain point. Like, there's only 5 ghosts around here, all of them level 1, so the strongest I could get that hobbit through that method is just level 7. One bill at the Dark Assembly that we can't pass yet because our promotion rank isn't high enough, and that's actually why I was trying to do the promotion exam in the last update, is to see if I would get this bill. It is the Stronger Enemies bill, and when you pass it, it increases the level and strength of the enemies, and you can pass it up to a maximum of 20 times to get pretty powerful enemies, honestly. And if I wanted a stronger monster, I can just keep passing that bill and getting stronger and stronger monsters until the point where I can get monsters that are significantly higher leveled than my party members are currently. And there is a certain application to that. You see, once you capture enough monsters, you're going to start building up your own force of fairly strong monsters that eventually are just going to outpace your characters. So something you can do is capture a monster, then capture a more powerful monster, then maybe like capture a duplicate of that exact monster, and keep capturing successively more powerful monsters until eventually you'll get monsters that are significantly stronger than your party members. Like, for the sake of argument, let's say I passed like 5 stronger enemy bills and then fused all those enemies into the Hobbit. I would probably get like somewhere in the ballpark of a level 40 Hobbit, which outlevels all my characters. And by capturing enough monsters, I can create a force that can actually take him down. And it's not that difficult, because monsters in this game do not come with equipment when they're facing against you. So yeah, exploiting that, I could theoretically pick a map where, by powering up the enemies enough, I could get a monster with levels into the thousands, and indeed, the post-game maps, a popular strategy at that point is to buckle down and capture a level 9,999 monster and reap the benefits of having one. In particular, one thing I was attempting to do in the main update but didn't exactly work out is by getting a very high-leveled monster, you can steal equipment that you otherwise would have to build up one of these wimpy thieves for. And if you so chose, you could just build up a captured monster force that is so strong they can handle the brunt of all the fighting for you. So there's a lot of interesting applications to it. Now, monster capturing, as I've described it in this video, also functions the same way in this game's sequel, Disgaea 2: Cursed Memories. However, every game after this one, or rather Disgaea 2, except maybe the PSP and DS remakes of Hour of Darkness, I'm not too sure on that, the mechanics for monster capturing have changed, where you cannot capture a monster that you are unable to create, and the monster cannot exceed the level of your main character. So it significantly weakened the tactic, and in certain parts just makes it more of a novelty than anything. But there's still some interesting things you can do with it in future games, and it's a nifty mechanic if you want to take advantage of it. You could, if you so chose, build up a fairly strong force just of monsters that you captured and see how they do in the game. So that's the long and short of monster capturing. I'm not going to be doing too much of it, or really any of it, during the main story, but come the post-game, when it comes to stealing, it's simply much easier to get a very powerful monster rather than raise up a thief, because leveling in this game is actually pretty slow, because unlike future Disgaea games, there aren't great leveling spots, and it takes a while to get especially something as weak as a thief built up. So yeah, that's going to be it for this bonus video. I'm probably a long way off for making a bonus video describing each individual monster class, but maybe someday, and sometime in the near future I may also make a bonus video on some early game power leveling, since we just got access to Scorching Wind. So I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on about the basics of monster capturing, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Until next time, see ya.